guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you some more outdoor DIYs. These are great for your patio decor, and they're made from dollar store as well as reclaim some scrap wood materials. So my very first one, I have this pallet wood because if you've been following along, I had picked up a van full of pallet wood for free from I found a place on Facebook Marketplace, and I am just working through it all. I think I have 2 or 3 more left. So for this one, I'm just keeping it together. I'm going to eventually get my husband to take the backing off just so I can screw it to the fence. I was hoping to show you this in this video, but unfortunately it's been raining for 2 days now and it just didn't happen. So I sanded it down, and I'm just taking, it had some staples in it, so I'm taking those off just because I didn't want them there. And then using my Cricut machine, I have cut out a stencil kind of thing for it. And I just used the white shelf liner from the Dollar Tree to cut the stencil out. I didn't want it to use my good vinyl because I was going to be just taking it off and throwing it out. So if you're following along, you know I struggle with this, but it did work pretty good to weed it out and take everything off. So I'm just trying to figure out where exactly I want this stencil to go on, playing it around. So I had removed this frame on its own just so I know where I want it to go before I actually use transfer tape and transfer the whole stencil on. I wanted to know exactly where I wanted this to go. I also wanted to let you know that this video is part of a challenge, a Craft Your Stash challenge. It's an open invite. It's hosted by Antoinette from Simple Yet Chic, and this is her monthly challenge. And for theme for this one was DIY summer indoor and outdoor outdoor decor. So obviously I will be creating all of mine for outdoor. You could probably use some indoor as well, but it is a summer decor. I will have Antoinette's channel linked down below, as well as the playlist for you to check out after you are done watching my video. And this challenge is also very appropriate for this Craft Your Stash because I do live in Ontario and currently all of our stores are essentials only, so I am running really short on some of the supplies. So I am thinking outside the box and trying to use up all the things that I have at home, which is kind of a good thing as well, just to get through all the materials. But I did needed a clear coat for this to keep it outside, and I did not have it. So, and Home Depot currently, the curbside pickup is not a good thing. It takes forever, so I will be putting a clear coat once the stores open up. So here is the stencil on, and now I'm going to proceed to apply my stain, but you want to make sure that there's no bubbles in the stencil so the stain leaks through. I am using up my Old Masters stain in Spanish oak. I'm at the very end of it. It's had to peel a layer of dry stuff off of it, but I had enough for today's projects, which was great. So I'm using a foam brush as well as a rag just to spread it out, foam brush to apply the stain and then a rag to spread it out, and then I remove the stencil, revealing the natural wood color underneath. I absolutely love that the way that this turned out. It looks amazing in my opinion, and I think it's going to look fabulous on my deck. But like I said, I will be applying a clear coat on it just to protect it from the weather elements outside, because I won't be taking it off during the winter if I screw it onto the fence. My DIY number 2, I will be making some scones, and I've had some of this scrap wood laying around, so I'm using that as well as these little pieces of wood that I had left over from dollar store from a different project, as well as these hooks, some mason jar lids, just the rings, and some mason jars, as well as a chain that if you watched my when I made a cloche, that's what I took, the chain I took off the hanging basket. And then I also use spray paint, and I spray paint the rings as well as the little hooks with black spray paint. And I have a big window right above my table and it was open just to air out the spray paint. Then I proceed on gluing these little pieces of wood just to give the big piece of wood a little bit more design. And then I seed them with that same old Spanish oak stain. It's a gel stain, and I'm just using a rag just so I can get into all the little crevices. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. My name is Sonja, and I create home decor DIYs as well as furniture upcycles and trash to treasure makeovers on my channel. So if this is something that interests you, I would love it if you press the subscribe button and a notification bell so you don't miss out any of my future uploads. Now that these had dried, although the hooks, because it was kind of rubber on top of them, even though it was dry, some of the spray paint did come off, but it ended up looking more gray than black, which I was okay with that. And then I take the chain, and I want to see where I want these jars to be placed, and then I take a chain, take it apart to the length that I need to, and then I just hot glue it on. You could possibly drill a little hole and thread it through, but I wasn't sure how the lid would go on the jar then if it had a little bit of a thing on the inside. I didn't know that it was gonna screw very well. I'm putting hot glue. I would recommend even putting permanent glue on it, just because if you're gonna be using it outside, there's gonna be like rain and wind and stuff like that, so you want it to hold a little bit better. That's another thing that I'm out of, so I am just using hot glue just to show you, but like I said, I would also put permanent glue. So here it is. I wanted to put some votives or some of those battery operated tea lights in there just to show you, but I guess you're gonna have to check out my over on my home channel to see how I am using it outside and what I placed in it once I have the supplies necessary. For my DIY number 3, I am creating a pillow. If you follow along, you know I can't sew. My mom's a seamstress, and I think the talent has surpassed me. So I am using a hot glue to glue the sides. You can also use a iron-on tape that holds things together. I actually used that on my kids' pants when I was shortening them, and it works great, but I am currently using hot glue. And this is a canvas drop sheet that I had used for several of my DIYs, and I had a piece left. I also have cut off a couple tiny pieces that will still have some ideas on how to use for future DIY. So I'm really got my money's worth, which was $4 because I picked this up at Dollarama, of this drop cloth. So I'm creating an outdoor pillow is what I'm doing here. So I am hot gluing 3 sides, leaving one open because I will be filling that pillow up with some stuffing that I had saved from old pillows. So you will also need some painter's tape and some paint. I am using a Busong blue from Annie Sloan. It's chalk paint, and I love that blue. I think it gives you almost like a coastal feel, the blue. So then once the hot glue had some time to set, I turned the pillow inside out. I actually ended up putting a foam board underneath because some of the stain was still on the tablecloth, so I didn't want it to transfer to the drop to my pillow. I am using a pen just to push out the corners, and then you want something to place in between inside because you don't want the paint to transfer to the other side. And then I take my tape and I tape off a design on it. This can obviously be anything you want. I am going with a thicker line followed by a thinner and then the thinnest line. And then I proceed to painting it. Now, typically when I paint fabric with chalk paint, you want your paintbrush to be wet as well as the fabric to be wet. That way it will go on smoother and it will kind of almost like color the fabric. Because this is such a small job, I am not doing that, but you could totally do that if you wanted to. I have several videos on how I paint fabric. You can check those out under my furniture makeover playlist, so you can see how I painted a chair using chalk paint, and it actually worked out quite well, and the chair lasted I just gave the chair extra life, let's just put it that way, because it was ready to go in a garbage, but I painted it and I've had it for like 4 or 5 years after that. So once I applied the paint, I immediately remove the tape. That's what you want to do after any type of painting, so the paint doesn't dry and peel off when you're taking the tape off. And I love this design. I think it gives you that coastal outdoor feel. Then I stuff it with the stuffing and close it up by folding the ends in and then gluing all of it together. I am planning on taking some sewing lessons once things open up fully and buying myself a proper sewing machine. Are you a sewer? Do you know how to sew, or do you resort to other forms of fabric attachment like I do? I would love to know down in the comments. For my fourth project and my last one, I am creating another pillow, and I am using a burlap. I had picked up this burlap roll at Michael's for, I don't even remember how much it was. I think it was around $10-15. I had a table runner out of it, did several DIYs already, and I still have quite a bit left. So I wanted the size of this pillow to be about 12 by 12 so it fits, because I'm gonna be creating a design. I actually created a design on Canva and added it to my design space on a Cricut, because for Mother's Day I got an easy press, and this was the first time using it. And you guys, I tell ya, I hope the Cricut machine and all the Cricut things aren't like sewing for me, because it's taking me a while to get a hang of it. But anyways, so I again proceeded to hot gluing all 3 sides, leaving one open, and then I moved onto the floor because the table's a little bouncy, and it said you need to have a solid surface for the transfer. So I'm actually going to leave a link to the transfer that I created. I have it over on my Etsy shop. If you did not know, I recently opened up an Etsy shop, and I am just having some SVG files on there that I've created that I'm sharing with you, and they are a download and for minimal cost. You'll see I don't charge much for them. So if you want this transfer, it will be linked in the description box. So the first one I made, I realized I cut out the wrong side, so it has to be shiny side down. I did the shiny side up. Then I went and I did it the second time, but I had forgot to turn on the mirrored image. So the third time was the charm, and I got it the right way. So I'm just placing some parchment paper. I read a couple blogs that say to use the parchment paper. I don't know if it actually did anything. So try to do it both ways. So once the heat image, and I'm doing it at 300 because it's set for burlap to use 300. I think it's Fahrenheit. And then, no, it's Celsius, sorry. And then I'm just checking to see whether the image is transferring. If not, I go back and hold it on it again. So once the image had transferred, I just finish it off just the exact same way as I did the other pillow. So I'm not taking you through that whole process again. So yeah, I think this turned out really cute. We have a nice, really big fire pit. That's our thing in the backyard, and I think this is gonna look really great on my Muskoka chair. Obviously, I'm not gonna be leaving this pillow out all the time throughout like rain and winter. It will be just for decor, to decorate the yard. But I think it's gonna look fantastic, and I can't wait to share it with you. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you check out Antoinette's channel as well as the playlist, and I will see you all in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.